2025 has been one of the most hectic years so far, and we are not even halfway through. So let's just skim through what's been going on. First, let's talk about the fact that JD Vance meets with the Pope. Hours later, the Pope dies, and now all over my feed it has become canon that JD Vance murdered the Pope. Next, let's talk about the whole situation with the Nintendo Switch 2, since it is wild. $450 for the Switch 2 and $95 for Joy-Cons. You heard me right. $95. That is crazy. Not to mention the $90 physical copies of some games, and the fact that you need to pay to play the tech demo of the Switch, something that previously came completely free and makes the whole situation around it insane. Though, some of those price issues do stem from our next topic. So, moving on, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the word I've seen in every news article this year: tariffs. Let me give you a fun little timeline for them because it is crazy. First, Trump puts 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada. This was massive as they are some of our biggest trading partners and closest allies. And then, of course, the next best action is to put on tariffs on the entire world. And then we take off most of those tariffs other than a clean 10% on everyone and massive tariffs on China. Then, we exempt some of the top imports from the China tariffs, things like phones, computers, microchips, completely getting rid of the entire point for the tariffs, since now we aren't manufacturing the important things in America. But, you know what? At least now we can make the toy and board game markets from China, because that's what we need to boost our economy, I guess. And I'm bringing this up because this just genuinely shocked the global markets to their core and affected the world so deeply. It's crazy to me that these decisions are being changed every few days. By the time you're watching this video, we probably have tariffs on North Sentinel Island or something. Who knows at this point? Okay, let's move away from politics and talk about the fact that randomly, somehow, scientists detected compounds signifying life on a different planet with 99% accuracy. They just casually put that out and it feels like no one cares. Isn't that crazy? It's really just a true showing of how fast the media moves nowadays. Like, Trump almost being assassinated last year would have been headlines for months. But now, it just feels like a week went by and everyone forgot. And it's a good representation of how the news cycle is acting right now. Because, did you guys forget this year when Microsoft came out and said they made a new state of matter? A new goddamn state of matter? The news lasted just as long as when scientists brought back the dire wolves from extinction, something that would have been crazy news if 2025 wasn't, well, 2025. Also, something I have been waiting for so long to see. A colossal squid was caught on camera for the first time ever 2 weeks ago. If you haven't seen it, please go look it up now. It is so cool. If I can find a gif of it, I'll put it on screen now. It is a baby colossal squid, but it's the first time we've recorded one alive, and it is so cool. And also, I hope you guys didn't forget about the most intense corporate espionage case between two payroll companies. And yes, you heard me right, payroll companies. One of the two companies, Deal, straight up recruited an employee at Rippling, the other company, to work as a corporate spy and steal data and private information about Rippling. And then Rippling set up a trap for the dude. He gets caught, and then when confronted with a court order, flushes his phone down the toilet. That's crazy, right? And then the level of dedication and loyalty this dude has to Deal is insane. What's more wild is that in court he admitted to being a spy for Deal, and then he said that the CEO of Deal himself recruited him, and somehow throughout all of this, Deal is still denying the allegations. Oh, and you guys remember how happy the AI companies used to be? They were flying high, investors pouring billions and billions into these companies just to be hit by a goddamn meteor because China pulls up and hands us DeepSeek, an AI made for far cheaper and makes it free and open source. This has made some of the other AI companies put up models that were free on the same level to compete. This wiped out like $600 billion of NVIDIA's stock price just from putting out an AI model. I am really running out of things to talk about here, so I'm just going to leave you guys with one more little fact about 2025. Every person born after 2025 is now considered Generation Beta. Damn, that must suck. Being born into being a beta. I feel bad for them. I'm personally an enjoyer of being called Gen Z, so I pity them for how much we're going to have to bully them in the future. That's the end of this video. I think it's crazy that all this has happened and we're not even halfway through 2025. If you made it up to this point and you're not subscribed, subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed it, because I'm trying to hit an insane milestone, guys. Get ready for it. 20 subscribers. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.